annual notice of regular meetings on the bulletin board of the municipal building, by mailing the annual notice of regular meetings for 2022 to the News Record and Star Ledger in December 2021, and by filing said notice in the office of the Township Clerk.
Ms. Adams?
Here.
Ms. Crichton?
Yeah, I just texted Bailey. She's
Here.
got to unmute herself. We can't remute ourselves.
Mr. DeLuca?
He says he's here. I think
Mr. McGee?
I'm here.
Mayor Davis?
here.
Whereas Chapter 231, Public Laws of 1975, commonly known as the Open Public Meetings Act, requires that all public meetings of the public bodies be open to the public. And whereas Section 7A provides that the governing body has the discretion to permit, prohibit, or regulate the active participation of the public at any meeting, and whereas desire of the governing body to comply with the provisions of this act, same time to conduct its business in an orderly and expeditious manner, now therefore be resolved by the Township Committee, Township Maplewood, does hereby prohibit, as set forth in the formal agenda, active participation in the deliberations of the governing body by the public, and except as otherwise prescribed by law, does limit the public to the observations of the actions and discussions of the governing body at all its regular and special meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Crichton?
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca?
Yes.
Mr. McGee?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Fritzen, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Monday, October 3rd. Due to the Jewish holidays, we are meeting tonight and not tomorrow night. On Tuesday night, we tend to meet on the first and third Tuesday of each month. Welcome. Thank you for being us, friends and neighbors all over. We have hopefully what is seemingly a quick meeting this evening. We will start with a proclamation honoring National Coming Out Day, which is next week on October 11th. And then we will move into an appointment into one of our boards and committees. Katrina Campbell I'm going to move that we appoint Katrina Campbell onto the Community Board on Police. That will bring us to our first public comment for agenda items only. And after that, we will have our Board of Health meeting. The Board of Health meets the first meeting of every month. We have a couple of ordinances, one ordinance on final, ordinance number 3069-22, and two ordinances for introduction, 3070 and 3071, respectively. We will move over to reports from departments. It says here, do we have the Chief Financial Officer with us this evening? Ms. Fritzen?
He indicated earlier today he had no report ready.
He had no report ready, so we're going to hold on that. That will take us to administrative reports. We'll hear from administration, Township Council, and then from Ms. Fritzen, our Township Clerk. I want to introduce to the public Ms. Christine Turritilli, who is sitting in this evening from Mr. Desiderio, who is currently away on vacation. Welcome, Christine. Thank you for being here. Reports from elected officials. The order tonight will be Committee Member Adams, then Committee Member McGee, Deputy Mayor DeLuca, Committee Member Cripe, and I always go last. We have no discussion items this evening, and we have a pretty fulsome consent agenda. All of this agenda having been previously published as required. So with that, we'll get started with our proclamation. I will present it. National Coming Out Day is recognized internationally as a day of self-affirmation and awareness of the LGBTQ community. It's observed on October 11th around the world, not just by the LGBTQ community, but also by all of us together, allies, family, friends. National Coming Out Day was founded in 1988 to celebrate the Second National March on Washington for LGBTQ rights in 1987. Coming out, which is a public self-acknowledgement of belonging to the community, is recognized by many as a significant life experience. It is a turning point from the loneliness and self-denial of concealing one's identity to the fulfillment of being true to oneself, to claim dignity, empowerment, and self-respect, as well as the tolerance and support and acceptance from others that is deserved by all. For students, coming out can be particularly daunting in light of bullying and harassment occurring in schools and on social media platforms. The Township of Maplewood has always and continues to affirm its commitment as an ally in creating and maintaining an environment in which everyone is respected and valued by championing diversity and inclusion. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Dean Daffis, Mayor of the Township of Maplewood, on behalf of the Maplewood Township Committee, hereby proclaim October 11th, 2022 as National Coming Out Day in the Township of Maplewood, in recognition of the courage it takes to come out, as well as the importance of respect for the diversity and dignity of all LGBTQ plus community members. So thank you for that. We will be sending out some information about an exciting and fun event for all on National Coming Out Day in Maplewood on October 11th. It'll be student-driven, student-centered, and it's going to be a fun activity after the school lets out. We'll have some food trucks, we'll raise the flag, we'll have the students perform, make a few speeches, we'll come together as a community. We're calling it hashtag Maplewood Comes Out. It's for everyone because we're all coming out in support of the LGBTQ community this month. October is also LGBTQ History Month. We'll have a proclamation for that at our next meeting, October 18th. And October is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Committee member Adams will be presenting a very important and special proclamation in that regard at our next meeting on October 18th. Okay,
Mayor,
yes.
what was the date of the thing at the high school you were just talking about?
October 11th.
Okay. So it's
We
on.
don't know yet if it's going to be at the high school, if it's going to be at town hall. Those details are still being ironed out, but we'll send that information out tomorrow, Wednesday morning at the latest. So
Cool.
people have enough notice about it. So thank you. Okay, boards and committees. Ms. Fritzen, any chance we have Ms. Katrina Campbell with us?
I don't see her. She did respond that she would be attending the meeting.
Okay, let's just, Ms. Campbell, if you are with us, please raise your hand. Okay, I don't see her. So we're gonna move on. I'm gonna move that we appoint Katrina Campbell, who is a Maplewood resident. She's a mom who lives in the Hilton neighborhood. She's been in Maplewood for many years, and we interviewed her a while back, and she's very keen and interested in serving on the Community Board on Police. I move that we appoint her onto the board.
Second.
Roll
Is that
call?
Yes.
Ms. Cripe,
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca,
Yes.
Mr. McGehee,
Yes.
Mayor Daffis.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Fritzen. At this point, we're moving into public comment for agenda items only. Who is handling public comment this evening, Ms. Fritzen?
I believe Mr. Waltz is.
Oh, is Mr. Waltz with us? I didn't think he was going to be. Hey, Nick.
He is
welcome.
here. He and I spoke previously, and I'm going to be managing the public comment just due to the weird nature of tonight's meeting.
Wonderful. So,
You
Mr.
wanna
Knight,
clarify.
would you, yes, a little weird technologically tonight, some hiccups, no doubt. Would you kindly tell people the rules and guide us through public comment, please?
Yes, of course. So this is the public comment portion of the meeting. This is the portion that's on agenda items only. Non-agenda items, there will be public comment at the end of the meeting. If anybody would like to make a comment, please use the raise your hand function. I will unmute you and you will be given 3 minutes to speak. I'm seeing no hands, Mayor.
Just give it a little more time here. Okay, that's no public comment. There will be a second public comment at the end of our meeting for any item, agenda or not. Okay, at this point, we will move over to our Board of Health presentation. And I'm going to turn it over to Chairman McGeehee.
Thank you, Mayor. I will start with the words, but also I can go ahead and share my screen with the agenda here. And we'll do that. Oh, I can't, so I won't share it. Pursuant to Section 5, Chapter 231, Public Laws of 1975, this is the state for the record that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public by posting and maintaining annual notice of regular meetings on the bulletin board of the municipal building, by mailing annual notice of regular meetings for 2022 to the news record and Star Ledger in 2021. And let me, exit that. Hold on. Where are my words there, Bailey? Star Ledger, December 2021, and by filing said notice in the office of the Township Clerk. Ms. Fritz, please call the roll.
Ms. Adams,
Here.
Ms. Creighton,
Here.
Mayor Daffis,
Here.
Mr. DeLuca,
Here.
Mr. McGeehee.
Here.
Whereas Chapter 231, Public Laws 1975, commonly known as the Open Public Meetings Act, requires that all meetings of public bodies be open to the public. And whereas Section 7A provides that the Board of Health has the discretion to permit, prohibit, or regulate the active participation of the public at any meeting. And whereas desire the Maplewood Board of Health to comply with the provision of this act, same kind of conduct its business in an orderly and expeditious manner, now therefore be resolved by the Maplewood Board of Health, Township of Maplewood, as hereby prohibited except to set forth an informal agenda, active participation in the deliberations of the Board of Health by the public, except as otherwise prescribed by law, does limit the public to the observations of the actions and discussion of the Board of Health at all its regular and special meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Adams,
Yes.
Ms. Creighton,
Yes.
Mayor Daffis,
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca,
Yes.
Mr. McGeehee.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Fritson. Now move on to agenda item number 4, and I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the September 6, 2022 meeting.
I move it.
Second.
Ms. Adams,
Yes.
Ms. Creighton,
Yes.
Mayor Daffis,
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca,
Yes.
Mr. McGeehee.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Fritzen. We'll now prepare to hear from our health officer who will touch on seasonal flu update, monkeypox, COVID, and our sustainable Jersey health assessment report. I yield the floor now to our health officer, Ms. Davenport.
Thank you, Mr. McGeehee. Good evening, everyone. And if I may be able to share my screen, or perhaps, Mr. McGeehee, if you have my PDF, if you could share it, because it looks like I'm.
This is Ms. Barrett is sharing.
Yeah, I was trying to share.
We got the wrong agenda up anyway.
Yeah,
There we go.
I
Perfect.
can share it. Hold on. I think I can share now.
Let me make sure you both have permissions to do that.
Yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you.
You're when you're ready. Okay.
I think the time has come for us to start meeting in person, folks.
Yeah.
I think the
All right.
time has come.
Okay, oops, sorry, I was reading it earlier. Here we go, Ms. Davenport.
All right, thanks. Thanks for advancing my slides. Thank you. All right, so good evening, everyone. Let's start with some big news that's happening this month. On Saturday, October 15th, upcoming slide, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., we will be having our annual Township drive-through flu clinic at the rear of the parking lot of Town Hall. Walk-ups are welcome, and it is free for all seniors, 65 and over. But for those who are 18 and over, it's a $20 cash for a vaccine. So hope everyone will attend. We are entering flu season, as you know, so please come and get your flu vaccine. Next slide, please. As part of October and Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we wanted to let people know that if you need low cost breast cancer screenings, there are 2 services available. We advertise these every year, but we always want people to know about these at University Hospital. They offer free breast, cervical, colorectal, or prostate screening, as well as the In the Pink program at our colleagues at St. Michael's Medical Center, who also offer free or low-cost education, outreach, and screening and treatment to qualified individuals. You can contact the health department for more information on both of these services. Next slide, please. One of the things that we are happy to do in recognition of breast cancer awareness is to do a hat and scarf donation drive as part of the township. So from today to October 31st, if people would like to donate, they can come to Town Hall, either through the health department, or there will be a bin out in the lobby where people can donate new hats and scarves. Handmade is also welcome too, to provide these donations to our colleagues at the University Hospital, St. Michael's, as well as the United Breast Cancer Foundation. As we leave September, just another reminder that 988 is the Suicide and Crisis National Lifeline. This number, so that you know, has gotten an increase of almost 20% of usage in the last month since it's been up. So we want to make sure that people are using it. There is a 24/7 hotline for people to call, and 988 seems to be a very easy number for people to remember. So thank you for promoting that and spreading the word. This was the image that I didn't get to show you last month, but I did want to show you that this is a banner through your municipal alliance that is up around town. So hopefully you've seen these in the 3 locations that were mentioned, one at the Hart, one on Valley Street by Memorial Park, and one at the pool on Boyden Avenue. So I just want to encourage families to spend 15 minutes of your time. Means a great deal to your child's health and well-being, and maybe even to yours as well. Next slide, please. Communicable infectious diseases. Let's move on to monkeypox. So the cases as of September 30th are 713 cases in the state of New Jersey. There are 17 locations where people can get tested as well as vaccinated for monkeypox. So if people are interested, they can go to those locations. The best place to go to find out the most updated sites is to go to the nj.gov/health/monkeypox website, and that's where they'll update all of the sites that are offering services. Next slide, please. Moving on to COVID-19, to provide you with statistics, in the month of September, Maplewood had 143 cases. That brings us up to a total of 7,112. Next slide, please. Happy to note that our Essex County community transmission is low. So the state health department provides community level guidance for what to do in this low transmission. As we enter into school, this is a really good thing to do, but still, as we enter into the fall and going more indoors, but still remaining active, please consider all of the mitigation strategies, as well as getting a vaccine or booster if eligible, because we definitely want to continue to keep our transmission low. What I do want you to note is that COVID-19 variants are coming up in our breakthrough cases. We are now seeing 2 different variants, which might explain some of the new cases that we are seeing. Yes, if you look at the green at the top, we are seeing more cases of what is called Omicron BF7, as well as Omicron BA.2.75. So just as a virus will do, it will mutate. And so we are watching this carefully. But Omicron is a variant that spreads quickly. So again, getting vaccinated and following those mitigation strategies is key, not only for preventing COVID, but also by covering your mask, wearing masking, staying home if you're sick, also prevents the flu. So moving on. I'd like to show this very good trending of our COVID cases. So the green, the blue is our daily, the orange dotted one is our 7-day average, and the green, most importantly, is our trend line. So this is really good news for Maplewood and all of our activities and gatherings. Next slide, please. So as you know, we have a bivalent COVID-19 Omicron booster that's available for ages 12 and up, at Essex County. But what I will say is that moving on to the next slide, Essex County will be closing as of October 29th, so at the end of this month. Just for the monovalent booster, this just says that the bivalent booster now replaces it for those ages 12 and older. As the county is closing, we at the local health department in Maplewood will be giving the bivalent booster Omicron vaccine to the general public and to our employees on November 4th and December 3rd. More information on that to come, but we'll have times on November 4th in the evening for people who are commuting back home. And then December 3rd, all of this before Thanksgiving and the December holidays. Next slide, please. If anyone has any questions about whether they qualify for a booster and when to take it, you can give our office a call. But essentially, the CDC has provided a vaccination schedule for those who are moderately and severely immunocompromised, as you can see here. And the next slide is for those. I'm sorry, the one prior to that is for the general public, or not. My apologies. And then the one with the beige is for moderately or severely immunocompromised. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to call your healthcare provider or the Maplewood Health Department, and we're happy to provide you with guidance on when to go get your vaccine booster. Next slide, please. Okay, and again, the Livingston Mall Sears site location will be closing October 29th. But for now, they're still giving out vaccine for both 6 months to 5 years old and everyone above that as well. But they're no longer doing testing, so I do want to mention that. Yeah, thank you. Okay, we're moving on to the Maplewood Local Health Assessment. So for Sustainable Jersey, in order to qualify for Health Gold, which is something that we are trying to attain as the first township in New Jersey to go for Sustainable Jersey Health Gold, we conducted a local health assessment. So let me provide you with those results. We analyzed the results as of September. This survey was conducted between July and August of this year. And if you go to the next slide, you'll see that we had a robust feedback from pretty much all the neighborhoods in Maplewood. I just want to give a shout out to the Hilton area. Thank you very much. Who had the highest, yay, highest response rate at 21%. But we had 190 respondents. So thank you to all of you who spread the word about our health assessment. Next slide, please. So one of the things that the Sustainable Jersey Health Assessment did was it really looked at the social determinants of health. As the health department will continue to present all of this information because we have to develop a plan, but we always want to emphasize health in all policies. And this
what do you work out in when you
Thank you. So social determinants of health include things like transportation, food, housing, wellness and recreation, safety and community, and public engagement and communication. All of these are factors that affect people's wellness and health in their community. Next slide, please. So this is a very happy slide. What do you like best about living in Maplewood? Let's focus on some of those highlights there. Residents and neighbors and community. What you guys are doing as a township committee and fostering that sense of community and residents' participation is key. Diversity, inclusion, progressiveness, and liberal perspective, as well as our parks, pools, and downtown Springfield Avenue restaurants. Trees and beauty and architecture come up next, as well as family-friendly activities, events, and culture. So you guys are doing the township committee is doing a fantastic job. The township's doing an incredible job. 8% love that it's walkable and that it is quiet, safe, and clean. They love the feel and vibe of the town, and that we are civic-minded, as you can see, as we keep nominating people to our volunteer programs. And then teachers in schools and And of course, location is key for a lot of people. Next slide. Okay, so what I like to focus on this is available programs and services that respondents know about. So you can see that people know about the food pantries, the community fridge, Mend. Amazing that they know about the community fridge since we just started this last year. So kudos to everyone for spreading the good message and the fact that it's used so frequently. You can see all of these things that are here, but what I want to emphasize is that 51% don't know or can't name a program or service that the township provides. That's strange to me, but that's the I think that's where communication of our services comes in. We do so much and we work so hard. So just want to bring that to your attention. Next slide, please. Okay, so what do you think are the top 5 things that get in the way of people staying healthy in Maplewood? So I won't read them out to you, but I do want you to notice the first 6 or 7. Yeah, up to chronic diseases where it starts to even out. But all of these relate to, again, staying healthy relates to transportation, safe pathways by town by bicycle, lack of knowledge about how to keep themselves and loved ones healthy, stress about money or difficulty finding a steady job, isolation and loneliness, mental health is one of the top 3, lack of affordable and safe houses and apartments, and not enough money to afford high quality, healthy food for their families every month. So these are, these may not be everyone's concern, but these are top concerns for those who did respond on some of the challenges and barriers that we might face. So next slide, please. Additional comments that popped out to us as we were reading and sifting through these might be also similar to what the results will be in the master plan. So we have shared this information with the consultants for the master plan as well. But broken sidewalks, pedestrian safety and aggressive driving, crime and need for more police presence. I do want to mention that in our more extensive report, there is a measurement that said police presence people are happy with and they want more of it. So that's a really interesting note, and kudos to our police department. Need for bike lanes, access and support for disabled and elderly. Affordable housing is going to come up again and again. Township communications and responsiveness. An ability to withstand weather-related emergencies. As we are exiting September with Emergency Preparedness Month, and with these preparedness for hurricanes and other natural disasters, that's going to be one that I'm going to highlight for everyone that we should really focus more on as a township. And of course, deer. So deer seems to be an issue for some residents as they, we live so close to the reservation. Next slide, please. So key takeaways, overall, our residents are happy with the town that they live in, the makeup of our great community and the resources available to them. Public engagement and communication are high, but I do think that people want more communication, especially in certain areas. Major concerns will be housing, mental health, and public safety. More communication and publication of township offerings, including multilingual communication. So just want to put that also on your radar, but also to advertise that the township has our e-blast, which I don't know if everyone knows about, and also just getting them out there to the neighborhood associations, maybe even perhaps through the school could be another idea. Majority of respondents did not know the township's emergency preparedness plan or how to plan for an emergency. So for example, this weekend, we just put out some great information on what people should do in an emergency. I think we have to explore more of that, of do people get that? Are they not aware of that information going out electronically? Or do we have to do more in-person trainings on how to plan for an emergency, both as a community as well as families? And at the health department, we're happy to help to create that. Moving on. Recreation facilities need improvement. That probably goes along with like the sidewalks and taking care of our streets and infrastructure. People are unaware of free or low-cost physical activities for those 65 and older, and mental health programs, but they appreciate the great cultural events and they're aware of those. Good or great on safety. However, safety is also a major concern for pedestrians, bicyclists, and overall. So that's another area to dive deeper into for safety. And then township infrastructure needs improvement, roads, sidewalks, recreational facilities, abandoned buildings. All of this, which sounds like engineering and infrastructure, has to do with people's ability to be mobile in town, right? Be able to walk, be able to ride, be able to drive. And then, abandoned buildings is more of like aesthetic, and recreational facilities has to do with, again, sports, wellness, and health activities. And that is it. I believe that is the end of my slides. And thank you so much, Mr. McGehee, for assisting me with that. I am open now to any questions. I do want to say one more thing, which is there's a second follow-up to the Sustainable Jersey, which is that we have to provide you with a plan. So I will be in touch with the Township Committee Board of Health regarding a resolution to start working on a plan and develop, create a committee. And hopefully this process will take about 1 to 2 months. And then within the 3rd month from now, I'll be able to present you with a health plan based on this information. And that's going to be with cumulative feedback and input from our neighbors. Ms. Adams, thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. It was a really good report. I just to touch a little bit on the pedestrian safety part. We are always, and I think Mr. DeLuca will concur, that we are always working on this and discussing it every month at Engineering and Public Works. And there is a process by which residents, if they feel that their particular street needs traffic calming or anything like that, there's a whole process laid out on our website, maplewoodnj.gov. So we want to make sure people know what the website is. It's easier than it used to be to find. But I did have a couple questions about the breast cancer screening. The breast cancer screening part that's covered, is anything other than mammograms typically covered by Affordable Care Act provisions or health insurance in general? Because
The mailing
you know, a lot of breast cancer isn't found unless there's more than just a mammogram.
Right, like blood work.
Well, or ultrasounds, MRIs, things like that. So,
right. Actually, that's a good point. We can reach out to University Hospital in St. Michael's and see what their latest advances and services are. If it's not just mammograms, but also the ultrasound, doctor palpation of the breast tissue. But also I know they offer education and outreach as well, but we can find out the additional medical services that they provide for free or low cost.
yeah, I think that would be helpful. If you could also find out what's mandated by the Affordable Care Act as to needs to be covered. Those of us who are fortunate enough to have decent insurance might not think about this, but like 48%, almost half women have dense breasts that makes the mammogram look like everything's white, and what's white is supposed to be cancer. So it's sort of like, it's a lot that goes into it. So it'd be nice if there was some clarity, because I don't even know the answer as far as what is required to be covered and what is available on low cost. And the other question I have with regard to monkeypox, it typically is mostly the gay community that's more likely, right, to get monkeypox, or more encouraged to be vaccinated. Is there also a monogamy aspect to it that lowers the risk for people? So I just wanted to know if that was something that was, not only for my gay son, but for all gay people out there.
Yeah, so they, as monkeypox has evolved, they highlighted and have refined the people who qualify as a high priority group for getting tested and vaccinated. So those who have been in contact with someone who has tested positive for orthopox or monkeypox virus within the last 14 days, or people who've attended an event or social gathering that's associated with a monkeypox outbreak or exposure. And then the third part is people with multiple sex partners who have a partner that has had multiple sex partners. So anyone who is not in a monogamous relationship may want to explore whether they should get this vaccine and get tested if they fall into any of these categories.
Great, thank you. Appreciate the clarity.
And just to further clarify that, not just the gay community, we don't see households with multiple sex partners just in the gay community.
That's correct, yes.
So we just want.
Yeah, no, and that wasn't my.
I know. I just want to make that clear because this is the
Totally.
public.
Sorry if I implied that at all.
Yeah, and so in some of the language that was when it first came out, it did specify men having sex with men. However, as they were finding more cases, they were finding cases that really expanded to people with multiple sex partners, whose partner had multiple sex partners. So that's what we're looking at now. So anyone who falls into that category, regardless of sexual orientation, should consider getting tested and vaccinated. Mr. DeLuca? Oh, you're muted, sir.
Slide that showed that 51% of people didn't know of programs or services. So I think it depends on how we think about programs or services, because recycling, for example, is a service. And my guess is that everybody knows about recycling.
Yes, right.
You know, and then there's, you know, the police services and things like that. So I guess it's a little misleading because it makes it seem that people don't know any of that, but they do know those kind of basic services. They know we plow roads and clean up the leaves and things like that. Those are all services we perform too. Right,
and it could be that it could be filed under other, that they wrote it in, and I believe that these might have just been what people wrote about or what was provided to them in the survey. But you're right that they might know of other services that were not listed.
Right.
There.
Yeah, I mean, it's, how you prompt people is how they respond.
Right.
Still, we can improve the communications that we send out there. I think another slide, for instance, speaks to this also. It says that most respondents were aware of the cultural events that we partner with community groups and that which we host, because we push those out big time, the cultural events. But some of the other things we don't. Recently, Mr. DeLuca and I were at a Hilton Neighborhood Association meeting about the master plan process. It was an introduction to the planning firm itself. And during that meeting, we had older adults who are longtime Maplewoodians who didn't know of the programming for older adults specific to them, physical activity, art, and other programming that is available to our senior community in Maplewood. There was some programming, obviously, during that pandemic that was halted, but those programs are back, the majority of them anyway. And some people didn't know about it. And that's possibly because we don't push that out as much as we push out, Maplewood stock, for instance, that everyone knows about. So, and then there's other things that have to do with that. The lack of transportation for some people, the lack of mobility. So they're not going to go to certain events over others and therefore not pay attention to that information when it is pushed out. Anyway. I always run into people that say that they don't know about things, and we could do more to get the information out. I think that's the bottom line. I want to thank Health Officer Davenport for this report. I thought it was really eye-opening. I look forward to being part of the committees or whatever it is that you put together to come up with a plan. And you're right, a lot of this stuff we're talking about with the master plan folks as well. And I'm glad that you sent this information over to them because there is an overlap here. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it just validates what they're going to find as well.
Does anyone else on my colleagues want to address the Board of Health? All right, seeing none, we'll now open up the dialogue with the public. If anyone would like to address the Board of Health, please raise your hand.
Yes, hello. I'm a member of the community. I live at 20 Kensington Terrace. Can you folks hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. I have not been all that active in getting on these Zooms and calls, and I agree with the comment that we need to meet in person again. I have been at past Township Committee meetings. I really applaud Ms. Davenport. I think she's done an incredible job of presenting data and information. I would like to address, I believe she talked about safety. And my husband and I have lived in Maplewood since 1994, and we ourselves have undertaken repair of our own sidewalks. I am a walker, if you will, and I like to walk for exercise. And I will say that it's distressing at times to see the shape of the sidewalks in Maplewood, and it's never been all that clear to me. I am also a lawyer, as to who exactly is responsible for that. I think I understand that the homeowners are, but I do think that there are some terrible, terrible sidewalk issues in this town that make it difficult for enthusiastic walkers and as seniors such as myself to be walking. I myself have had a fall. I'm sorry to say that I actually sued the township several years ago. And I would encourage whatever planning, if we're talking about master plans and so forth, that the sidewalks that are just in horrendous shape, primarily as a result of trees that are lifting up and things of that nature, be something that is considered for folks that do like to walk, don't want to take chances walking in the streets. And that's just something I wanted to raise. My name is Stephanie O'Connor. And again, I live in Maplewood at 20 Kensington Terrace. And I just thought of that when I was listening to Ms. Davenport and other comments about safety. I also did hear Ms. Adams, who I thought gave an excellent insight into the breast implant awareness. And I too would be interested in her questions about when and if ultrasonographic imaging can be done in women with dense breasts. I think many women do get letters from the mammogram imaging sites or physicians that tell them they have dense breasts and sort of leave it at that. So those are the two comments that I would like to offer. I appreciate you folks listening to me. This has been very, very interesting to listen to this evening.
Thank you, Ms. O'Connor, and taking some notes here. We'll follow up regarding sidewalks. We can talk about that in our code committee. Then, of course, we'll follow up on the health side as well. So thank you so much for your kind words.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Would anyone else like to address the Board of Health?
Hi, may I speak?
Yes, please.
Hi, this is Katrina Campbell. I think you all just voted me into the Maplewood Community Board on Policing. And I wasn't here because I was on the other link, so I apologize. But I'm super happy to be able to serve in this way. And I am especially taken by the Board of Health report, noting that people wanted more presence of police in their neighborhoods and in the communities. That is so often different from what we hear. So I would just love to be able to get some more information about that that particular response on the result. And as a resident of Hilton, which had a very high response on your survey, I'm really happy to see that, especially for my own neighborhood, where I do think we probably have some mixed feelings about the presence of police. At times we need more, and at times we're like, why are we always hearing the police? So I'm looking forward to hearing that as I learn more about the service that I'm about to embark on. So thanks to the township, and just thank you for allowing me to be of service, and I hope to be able to do a great job. But I really love that report, and I'm just really thankful for what you've just shared.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell, and myself and Mayor Daffis look forward to having you part of our committee. We just had a big retreat on Saturday and talked about a lot of things, including the presence of police, inclusive of in our schools, and how that process works. And so we'll definitely unpack more of that in our next meeting, which is Wednesday, I believe. But welcome, and thank you for your kind words.
Thank you. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to address the Board of Health at this time? I just saw, oh, hand disappeared. Oh, there we are. Ms. Burke.
Hello, my name is Caroline Burke. I live at 9 Amherst Court. Also thought it was an excellent report. 2 quick comments. I second everything that Katrina just said about police presence. And then the second thing about the sidewalks, I definitely agree about the concern. I also had a bad fall while I was running. And I'm wondering, is one of the reasons because it's quite expensive to fix the sidewalks of your home? I know of friends who live in the neighborhood who said, oh yeah, we're gonna fix ours, but we're saving up to do it. And if that is the case, how we can work as a community to make fixing the sidewalks more accessible for people.
Well, thank you, Ms. Burke, for your remarks, and we definitely align with what Katrina said as well. I mean, the sidewalks are the responsibility of the property owner, and obviously we don't manage their budget. If a sidewalk is in bad condition and our code enforcement team sees that, then they will make note of that. And obviously you have the right to make note of it yourself with public comment. But it's a very just knowing residents who've had to get their sidewalks replaced, it's a significant 4 to 5 figure expense on top of your other expenses. And I think that's why your friends and neighbors are saying, I'll get around to it. But it is a delicate balance. But I said, we'll bring it up at the code meeting next week. Thank you for your words. Would anyone else like to address the Board of Health at this time? All right, seeing none at this point, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Perfect. Any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Fritzen, please call the roll.
Ms. Adams,
Yes.
Ms. Cripe,
Yes.
Mayor Daffis,
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca,
Yes.
Mr. McGee.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Fritzen. I yield the floor back to the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. McGee. That was a great Board of Health presentation. As it always is, our health officer, Davenport, is truly the best, and we're so blessed to have her in our township. So this moves us into our ordinances, ordinance on final passage, ordinances for introduction. I do want to say one thing, though, to speak to one of our residents who spoke up during BOH, Carolyn Burke, I think it was, about the condition of our sidewalks and what can we do together. Yes, certainly it's an issue of code enforcement, but I do think we have to have a deeper conversation and a deeper assessment about that because not many homeowners can afford to do that. And so it creates an issue of equity, and other communities have figured this out in a way that it becomes a partnership with the township. So, we'll have to talk about that, obviously, making no promises tonight, but I just want to state for the record that we are willing to do so. And as we engage, we will definitely talk to all of our residents and see what we can do toward a more equitable solution, not just penalizing and going after people writing violations that they can't afford on top of their not being to work on their sidewalks. So, all right, that's it. Ordinance on final passage, Ms. Fritzen, ordinance number 3069-22.
Yes, Mayor. Item number 9 is an ordinance to amend classification of employment positions within the Township of Maplewood and to establish salary ranges for employees. This ordinance will revise classification of employment positions and salaries within the Township of Maplewood, consistent with a revision of the table of organization establishes within the Township of Maplewood.
This ordinance has been published, copies posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and copies made available to the general public in accordance with law. Since we are in final passage, the public is entitled to remark and ask questions about and speak up about this ordinance before we adopt it. So at this point, I will open it up to the public for any remarks, questions, concerns. Do we have any members of the public who wish to comment on ordinance number 3069-22? I don't see any hands up. Seeing none, we're closing the public comment portion. Are there any of my colleagues who wish to comment on this ordinance? Seeing none, I will move it. I move the passage of this ordinance on first reading. No, excuse me, this is final passage. I move this ordinance be adopted as a whole and the clerk be directed to publish the same as a passed ordinance in the Maplewood South Orange News Record according to law.
I'll second the motion.
Ms. Adams,
Yes.
Ms. Cripe,
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca,
Yes,
Mr. McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Daffus.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Fritzen. We have an introduction of a new ordinance, item 10A.
Yes, Mayor, that's ordinance number 3070-22, authorizing an emergency appropriation for the preparation and execution of a complete program of revaluation of real property mandated by the Essex County Board of Taxation.
Thank you, Ms. Fritzen. I move the passage of this ordinance on first reading, its publication according to law in the Maplewood South Orange News Record, and a hearing to be held on October 18th, 2022.
I'll second the motion.
Ms. Adams,
Yes.
Ms. Cripe,
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca,
yes,
Mr. McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Daffus.
Yes. Item 10B.
Yes, Mayor, also on introduction, ordinance number 3071-22, bond ordinance funding and emergency appropriation providing for the Township of Maplewood's allocable share of the unfunded portion of Phase 1 of the Flood Mitigation Facilities Project of the joint meeting of Essex and Union Counties buying in the Township of Maplewood in the County of Essex, State of New Jersey, which is the local unit, appropriating $1,525,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,525,000 in bonds or notes to finance the cost thereof.
Thank you, Ms. Fritzen. I move the passage of this ordinance on first reading, its publication according to law in the Maplewood South Orange News Record, and a hearing to also be held on October 18th, 2022.
I'll second this motion.
Ms. Adams,
Yes.
Ms. Cripe,
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca,
yes,
McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Daffus.
Yes, thank you again, Ms. Fritzen. We do not have any reports from departments. We're moving into administrative reports, and we'll start with Township Administration. Administrator Gimes, are you with us?
I am. Just one brief item related to Resolution 311. I just want to make note that of all the procurement resolutions tonight, that one is a second low bid award because the lowest bid was not in conformance with the specifications. Otherwise, all the procurement ones are low bid awards.
Thank you, Mr. Gimes. Good to hear your little one in the background, Gimes Jr. Healthy. That's the way a baby's supposed to sound. Good for you and congrats again. It's a beautiful thing. I'd love to hear from Assistant Administrator Burnett.
Good evening, everyone. My really only update is thank you to everyone for their patience. I've been out of office for the past couple of weeks. I was at the International City and County Management Association Conference in Columbus, Ohio. Lots of great seminars and interesting folks to talk to there and get some new ideas. Today's actually my first day back in office, so not much of a report, but if you sent me a message during that time and you didn't hear from me yet today, please know I'll be reaching out to everyone by end of day tomorrow at the latest. And that's about all that I have for you.
Thank you, Ms. Burnett. We're happy to have you back and happy that you're feeling better and recovered from COVID successfully and fully. That's most important. Township Attorney Mr. Desiderio is out of the country on a little much needed and deserved vacation with his family, but we do have with us Ms. Christine Turatelli. Christine, you wish to give us any report?
I have no report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, we appreciate you making the time being with us tonight. Ms.
Mayor,
Fritzen,
Mayor,
yes.
I have a question for Ms. Turatelli. I was speaking with our engineer today, and he tells me that the one of our road construction contracts is internally being reviewed. And I believe maybe Ms. Fritzen has it. It's the one for Lexington Avenue. Are you able to take a look at that, Ms. Turatelli, or should we have to wait for Mr. Desiderio? Because we're trying to get that project started because there's some weather issues.
I'm able to communicate with him, so if it's forwarded on to me, we can see what we could do to get it done as quick as possible. So absolutely get it to me, please.
You have that, right, Ms. Fritzen?
Correct, Mr. DeLuca.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Township Legal? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move into reports from elected officials. We'll start with Committee Member Adams.
You missed the clerk.
I'm sorry, Ms. Fritzen.
That's
I'm
good.
eager to keep this along tonight. Ms. Fritzen, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm so
Thank you,
sorry.
Mayor. Couple
I
things.
introduced you and then I knocked you out. Go ahead.
It's all right, I have tough skin. I just wanted to report on a couple of upcoming wonderful events that we have in the township. And that's this Saturday. We'll be having the dedication of the Gerard W. Ryan Plaza. And that begins at 2 p.m. right out front of Town Hall. And it's going to be a terrific, terrific event. We will have a nice program as well as refreshments. We are actually going to provide sandwiches as our refreshments and, encourage people to hang around at New Jersey and, mingle with one another and speak about what a wonderful mayor and township committee person and planning board chair and everything else that made Jerry Ryan what he is today. My other item is to report that we anticipate having, for the first time in a bunch of years, a great Veterans Day ceremony inside the town hall in our township committee room. And most of you know, if you've attended it, it's probably my favorite program that we do offer. It's extremely moving, and the veterans love it. And they feel a lot of support from the townspeople and the township committee. So that's on November 11th, and we always do that right on the day. It's Friday, November 11th, and we do that at 11 a.m. at the town hall. So more information to follow on that, and everyone is welcome to attend. So we'll see you all Saturday for Mayor Ryan's tribute. Thank you, Daphis.
Thank you, Ms. Fritzen. We're looking forward to it. it's going to be a wonderful weekend of a lot of interesting events. As we had this past weekend in the township, we're back in person celebrating together as a community. Ms. Fritzen, will you probably have some voting information, I guess, at the next meeting? I just received my voting guide in the mail from the county the other day, and I was on an Essex County Democratic Committee session right before this meeting tonight, and they were giving us some information about early voting again, about voting by mail and when registration for that is due, and using the drop boxes. And our drop box is going to be available again this voting session. Did you want to say
Right,
anything?
Mayor. Yeah, we're preparing another leaflet that we have been doing that's been real successful, answering questions for our Maplewood voters. And actually at the next Township Committee meeting, which is October 18th, that's a late night that we stay open. It's the last day of voter registration. We do stay open through till 9 p.m. For any Maplewoodian that needs to register to vote. But again, we're in the process of coming up with an informational flyer. It's proven to have been very successful during COVID and since when things have opened up somewhat. So we're get that out very shortly, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Fritzen. That's great. Big election day, November 8th, lots at stake. We need everyone to get out there and use their voice at the ballot box. Okay, so with that, we will truly move over to reports from elected officials, and we'll start with Committee Member Adams.
Thank you, Mayor. Other than thanking Mr. DeLuca and Sarah Lester and everyone for the groundbreaking on this past weekend for the library, I have no other report.
Okay, Ms. Adams, thank you. It was a wonderful event, wasn't it? So well attended. I did not expect to get so many people as we did, and I know Deputy Mayor DeLuca will be talking about it in his report, so we'll let him.
That's why I didn't elaborate.
Yeah, okay. Committee Member McGehee, thank you again.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few items. One, as I kind of previously mentioned, I just want to recognize the Community Board on Police for our retreat this past Saturday that myself and the mayor attended, although we were truncated because we had a busy Saturday in the community. But it was an excellent dialogue amongst our police officers, our head of security in the schools, our principal from MMS, as well as Columbia High School was there, and the majority of members of the board, and including our attorney, and really just kind of had a good conversation about perceptions and realities regarding police officers in our schools, some of the processes, and some of the opportunities, frankly. One of the things we discussed is the opportunity to bring back the open gym program, which obviously was kind of severed due to COVID, and how important that is to bring our young people, especially of color, young Black males especially, align with our police officers, and the amount of the turnover that we've done, or the changing of the table, and all the wonderful police officers that we brought in the last 5.5 years. So a very fruitful conversation, and we'll unpack more this Wednesday at our actual regular scheduled meeting. I also want to recognize Ms. Burnett, who is, as already articulated, is recovering from a long couple of weeks away due to the conference and other factors. But many people don't know, but every Friday we send out a newsletter, and this newsletter is all the happenings in the township of Maplewood, socially, logistically, in terms of administrative operations as well. I highly advise all residents to take the time to sign up for this newsletter. It's all encompassing. It's more information on that than you get on your social media handles. Sometimes even our social media handles and our local press, miss it because we're already there giving it to you kind of like breaking news. So please take a look at that. In the months ahead, we'll be providing some metrics to the public to show how valuable it is, and also be leveraging multiple channels as well in terms of using push notifications as well, which is a good thing. And we know that other municipalities do it as well. The South Essex Fire Department, we continue to meet. Myself and Mr. DeLuca were in a meeting this afternoon. We're 3 months in, and very excited about where we're going. There were some questions in the public about the balance of our EMS, but we have hired 9 firefighters. So our table is full and robust, and our EMS and our ambulance are back in service. I want to take a special shout out to the South Orange Volunteer Rescue Squad for all their efforts during the interim period. But things are going well, and we're very excited about where things are going. And I'm going to talk a little more about that in a minute here in my report. And so to do that, I'm going to first go ahead and share my screen if possible. I think we got it this time. A couple events coming up. So let's start. So for those who may or may not know, the Men Gala is back. In fact, the Men Gala, the official Men Gala, was literally the last event that we had in Maplewood before COVID. So it was right around February of 2020. So almost after 2.5-year hiatus, it's back. It's going to be amazing. A lot of people have put a lot of effort and work into this, Robin Peacock and her team as well. So please, please, please come out. If you can't come out, buy tickets, support, as someone mentioned already earlier today. The work that Men does in our community is unbelievable, and it's really meeting essential needs with dignity. In terms of the work they do at the food kitchens, in terms of the work they just do in the community throughout. So please, 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 if you can, any donations, great, but if you can come out and celebrate with us at the gala at the Woodland this Saturday or this Friday, it'll be great. So I also want to recognize that we're having another beer tasting here. So the Springfield Partnership is working on that. So this is going to be on the 12th. So come on out. For those who haven't been out before, it's a good time had by all. And you really get a chance to really enjoy meeting neighbors, not just from your community, but from the broader community as well. So it's something that attracts people from all over town. It's a lot of fun. Mr. Luke will be carting you at the door. I promise you that. But anyway, come out and join us for that. And then finally, kind of going back to what I alluded to before, to celebrate everything that we're doing, the South Essex Fire Department, and also celebrating the 100th anniversary of Fire Prevention Week, we're having a huge event this Sunday. So it's going to be in South Orange, where the new headquarters is, right there on Sloan Street. But you can read it for yourself. We're going to have food, ice cream, music, arts and crafts. We're also going to introduce our new firefighters to the public. And President Collins has been working diligently, on the agenda. We'll have the Lieutenant Governor will be there and other high-level dignitaries from throughout the state. So if you have some time on Sunday, come on out between 1 and 4 and enjoy the festivities. And that is my report. I yield the floor, Mayor.
That was a great report, Mr. McGee, and you've covered a couple of my items. So thank you for doing that. And yeah, we have a lot of great community events coming out, lots of opportunity for engagement. And I echo what you said about supporting the Green Bean Gala, supporting MEND. If you can't buy a ticket because it's a little bit above what you can afford right now, there's other ways. Just become a monthly donor at a price point that works for you. As we heard earlier in the health assessment from our health officer, food insecurity is real. Even in our affluent community, it's real. So support it. It's a great organization. Come on out. And I guess my trying to trim some pounds this fall is not going to happen. We had beer at Oktoberfest this weekend. We're having beer on Springfield Avenue next week. Oh my goodness. It's just never going to happen, I guess. All right. We'll move over to Deputy Mayor DeLuca.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to shout out to the Maplewood Library for a terrific program we had Wednesday night at Columbia High School with Nicole Hannah-Jones. The place was packed. This was a real great opportunity to be together and really have a very provocative presentation. So it was really good, and congratulations to the library. You already heard about the groundbreaking. I will just share one little picture here. Oh, there's nothing to show. Okay. So anyway, we had the groundbreaking. We wanted to do it outside. It wasn't possible because of the weather, but we did it inside. I want to thank Ms. Fritzen and the folks at the Department of Public Works. We made the decision late Friday afternoon to move it inside, and on Friday, late Thursday afternoon, and on Friday, all the folks work to make our room presentable. And you're right, Mayor, you know, one of the benefits now is that that room is ready for our meetings. So,
Yes.
but it was a great event. We had over 200 people, and we're well on our way to starting the library. Just so folks know, it's an 18-month project, 540 days, and we meet with the contractor every 2 weeks, and I give him a date as to when it's due. So we're staying on them and making sure that they build that library in a timely fashion. Speaking of building, we have a couple of items on our agenda tonight, moving forward with the repair of the construction, of the river wall, and also construction of repairing some sidewalks on Donnell that we also had some storm effects to. We've started the Jacoby Street Road project, and we're working on the Lexington Avenue piece. That's why we really need that contract, because our contractor, believe it or not, is having a hard time finding the hundreds of feet of sewer pipe that he needs. And so we have to get that thing moving so we can get that stuff on site and move forward. I mentioned last meeting that we are going to be doing a pilot of creating a dead end at Lexington Avenue, Tuscan Street, and Burnett Avenue. We're going to do that. It's scheduled to start on October 24th. We'll be putting up some electronic boards on October 17th, and also using social media and our communication tools with the town to let the folks know. Additionally, at the corner of Burnett Avenue and Tuscan Road, we are going to eliminate left turns from Burnett Avenue onto Tuscan Road, and left turns from Tuscan Road onto Burnett Avenue. We'll be coning it there. We'll also be putting out the electronic boards and information. We'll be notifying the school, and that will also start on the 24th. So we're moving ahead with those two items. And then lastly, I just wanted to share one thing. This was 7 years ago, in October 2nd, 2015, when Maplewood Village was named the best downtown in New Jersey. We competed against all these other towns, and folks voted, and our folks in Maplewood voted for us, and we won the best downtown. So a little retro here, just to say that we still have the best downtown in New Jersey, and we got to keep it up. So that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor DeLuca. That was great, fulsome and fun, as you always are. Thank you so much. We're going to move over to Committee Member Cripe.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll try to make this quick. We've had a lot of things happen this month. We have been pushing heavily with our summer programming coming to a close. I want to thank everyone who participated in all of our activities, our events, our classes and camps and everything, but do not fret. There's still stuff happening in the fall. Just because summer has come to a close doesn't mean Recreation and Human Services has stopped putting things together, and then our arts and culture people are not putting stuff together, including this wonderful festival we just had this weekend, sponsored in part by the Vanessa Pollock Music Foundation, the Oktoberfest. I'm so grateful for this community coming out, even on a drizzly, cold day, with babies in tow, some in lederhosen, and everyone just had a wonderful time at the Woodland. So please check your email, or if you haven't signed up for the emails, as Committee Member McGehee stated, please go to the Township website and sign up. There's so much information out there. If you just sign up for it, you'll get all the notifications. YouthNet is back in business and has zeroed out their year and has actually got our website back up and running. So we are looking to sponsor not only the camps that have been announced at the open houses at our elementary and middle schools in the last few weeks, they'll be announcing some of the clubs and activities that our senior youth can be involved in, our high school students. So please keep an eye out for that, and please come out to back to school nights starting this coming Thursday on into the next couple of weeks for each of the different classes of the high school. Finally, the AARP and the New Jersey Department of Housing had a workshop about ADUs in the last couple of weeks, in hopes to have people get a better understanding of what it means to be able to age in place. And so for our seniors, as well as for our young families who are contemplating what they're planning on doing in the next 20 years, I would encourage folks to please step forward and be a part of the master plan, because these are important issues that need to be discussed. And as you're making your renovations to your lovely houses, making it possible for you to stay in that house for as long as you can, or to have your senior relatives come stay with you to enrich your families, like multi-generational household. These are things we need to know. So please come forward, please come out. Again, sign up for the different newsletters and notifications. And don't forget that Essex County also has a series of them as well. Our Recreation and Human Service Director, as well as our public health officers, are very, very good about communicating their information as well, but it can be kind of long. So if please just soldier through it, and the information is out there, just keep looking for it and we'll make it available for you, because we'd love to see every person who's chosen to make Maplewood their home for life. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Craig. That's beautiful. And I love what you said about ADUs, accessory dwelling units. We adopted an ordinance, by the way, back in 2020, October 2020, which was revised a couple of times. We started out strictly as an aging in place initiative, restricted only to our older adults, seniors, but it was expanded townwide, and everyone can benefit from an ADU. It's funny you mention it. Your timing is interesting, because earlier this afternoon, I was on an ADU panel that the Livable Communities from AARP and the Age Friendly Network was hosting. And we were talking about our respective efforts. This is now gaining traction all over the state. And our legislators under the Golden Dome and Trenton are talking about a model ordinance for all communities. And we need to keep talking about it. We certainly have a lot of work to do to get the word out here in our community. I've been talking to our building department about hosting a housing town hall or a clinic coming up, and having some experts come and talking about what we've done, what we'd like to do, what we need to do, and hearing from the community. And certainly I've discussed this with our planning firm because this also relates to land use and zoning and housing, all the elements in the master plan process that we are in right now. So thank you for that. I have one item myself. Upon receipt of a letter of resignation from Township Administrator Gimes, we'd like to move forward with interim services effective Friday through Greg Schuster, who was our interim before. We'd like to bring him on to begin the transition. We received a proposal from Mr. Schuster at $125 per hour. And I'm going to ask my colleagues for their support here tonight so that we can start moving and getting a transition in place while Mr. Gimes is still with us.
I second it.
Ms. Adams,
Yes.
Ms. Craig,
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca,
Yes.
Mr. McGehee,
Yes.
Mayor Daffis.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Fritzen. For the roll call, we have no discussion items. We're moving right into consent agenda. Can I get a motion for items 15A all the way through 15N, like Nancy?
Does that mean I should move it?
If you like.
I move the consent agenda through N like Nancy.
Second.
Ms. Adams,
Yes.
Ms. Craig,
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca,
Yes.
McGehee,
Yes.
Mayor Daffis.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Fritzen. This brings us to our second public comment period for any subject matter. Mr. Waltz, I'm going to turn it over to you, or Ms. Burnett, whoever's doing public comment tonight. Please walk us through public comment.
Hello, everyone. So we have reached the public comment section of the meeting for any topic. This is not limited to agenda items. If you would like to make a comment, please use the raise your hand function. You'll be unmuted and given 3 minutes to speak. Seeing no hands, Mayor.
I'm seeing no hands either. People are a little shy this evening, right? It's a dreary Monday night. cold and damp. Okay, well, seeing none, we're closing the public comment period. I move that we adjourn and meet here again on the 18th of October at 7:30 p.m.
Seconded.
Ms. Adams,
Yes.
Ms. Wright,
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca,
Yes.
Mr. McGehee,
Yes.
Mayor Daffis.
Yes, thank you all for joining.